In a secluded farm in eastern Washington, where the sky stretched vast and unending above a land seldom trodden by outsiders, there lived an old man. Or at least, to anyone who might chance upon him, he appeared to be an old man. His true nature was something far older, a being that had witnessed the rise and fall of stars, seen civilizations born and die in the blink of a cosmic eye. He was a creature bound not by the fleeting spans of human life, but by the eons of the universe itself. On one particularly cold afternoon, a visitor arrived at the farm. The man introduced himself as Mr. Connell, claiming to be a state property assessor. His appearance was that of a large, imposing figure. His physical presence dominated by broad shoulders and thick limbs that filled out his clothes awkwardly, straining the seams of his ill-fitting tweed jacket and slacks. His hands were large and looked capable of hard labor, yet they held documents with a surprising delicacy, as if aware of their own disproportionate strength. His face was adorned with a beard, graying and unkempt, beneath which a smile sat, a smile that seemed both congenial and unsettling at the same time. This visitor, however, was not what he claimed to be. Beneath his guise as an assessor was a private investigator, a man who had spent years unraveling the mysteries that others preferred to leave untouched. He was drawn to the farm by a series of unexplained disappearances in the area, incidents whispered about in the nearby towns with a mixture of fear and superstition. Mr. Connell had a reputation for being thorough, a trait that had served him well in his military past and now in his current profession. He approached each case with a methodical mind, but this time, his instincts had led him to believe there was something deeply unsettling about this seemingly innocuous old man and his lonely farm. As he stepped onto the porch, the door opened to reveal the old man, who greeted him with a voice as weathered and rough as the wooden planks underfoot. Inviting Mr. Connell inside, the old man's demeanor was calm and courteous, a stark contrast to the wild, unkempt nature of his surroundings. The house was dimly lit, shadows clinging to corners like cobwebs, with furniture that spoke of decades past. It was as if time itself had decided to slow its passage here, leaving the interior draped in a cloak of the past. Mr. Connell accepted the offer to step inside with a nod, his eyes scanning the room with an investigator's keen gaze. There was something off about the old man, something that didn't quite fit the simple picture presented before him. The old man offered tea, which Mr. Connell accepted, albeit with a cautious politeness. As the old man shuffled into the kitchen, Mr. Connell took the opportunity to glance around. The room was filled with an eclectic collection of books and trinkets, each piece appearing as though it held a story far beyond its physical presence. The conversation that ensued was filled with the old man probing subtly with questions that seemed innocuous, but carried a weight behind them. Mr. Connell, for his part, responded with answers that revealed little, his own questions probing for slips in the old man's story. However, despite his probing, the room and the man before him seemed to only deepen the mystery, layers of normalcy masking something far more complex. As they sipped their tea, the atmosphere thick with the mustiness of old wood mixed with the faint aroma of the tea, Mr. Connell felt the unease grow within him. There was a story here, hidden beneath the surface of polite conversation and the veneer of a quaint rural life. The old man spoke of the weather, the challenges of maintaining such an old property, and the beauty of solitude, but his eyes, those deep-set, knowing eyes, seemed to hint at a larger, unseen truth. After some time, Mr. Connell expressed his desire to see more of the property, particularly the barn, which he noted on his way in. The old man nodded, a flicker of something indecipherable crossing his face. Together, They stepped outside, the air crisp and cold as they made their way towards the large, dilapidated barn that stood a short distance from the house. Inside the barn, the shadows grew longer, the only light coming from the cracks in the wooden siding. The structure was filled with the scent of hay and dust, an earthiness that spoke of age and decay. Here, amidst the shadows and the faint light, the old man led Mr. Connell to a large object covered with a tarp. The curiosity that had driven Mr. Connell to this remote farm now pulsed through his veins with a sense of impending revelation. He watched as the old man's gnarled hands reached for the tarp, his movements slow and deliberate. With a pull, the cloth came away, revealing beneath it a sculpture of such bizarre and intricate design that it took Mr. Connell's breath away. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a form that seemed to defy the laws of physics and artistry. The sculpture was a mass of angles and surfaces that seemed to shift and change as he moved around it, each step revealing a new and more disturbing aspect of its form. The material from which it was crafted was unrecognizable, its texture both mesmerizing and repulsive. As Mr. Connell stood there, trying to comprehend the impossible complexity before him, the old man watched him with an expression of melancholy and resignation. It was as if this reveal, this sharing of a hidden truth, was a burden that had weighed on him for far too long. "What is this?" Mr. Connell finally managed to ask, his voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the air around the enigmatic sculpture. "It's a reflection," the old man replied, his voice carrying a depth that seemed to echo with the weight of unspoken knowledge. "A reflection of the cosmos, of the truths that lie hidden beneath the surface of what we see. It's a window to understanding the deeper currents that drive the universe, the dark matter that binds the stars and the darkness within ourselves." Mr. Connell felt a chill run down his spine, the words of the old man settling into his mind like cold, heavy stones. He realized then that he had stepped into a realm far beyond the missing persons and the simple explanations he had sought. He was standing on the precipice of a truth so vast and profound that it threatened to consume him. "Who are you?" he asked, turning to face the old man, his detective's instinct now drowned out by a deeper, more primal need to understand. "I am a watcher," the old man answered, his eyes reflecting a starry sky that was not visible to the naked eye. "A guardian of the threshold between what is known and what is eternal. I am the keeper of the gate to understanding the infinite, and you, Mr. Connell, have shown yourself to be a seeker of truths. But be warned, the path you are on leads to places from which there is no return." Mr. Connell felt the weight of those words, and for a moment, he considered turning back, leaving this farm and forgetting the mysteries it held. But the pull of the unknown, the drive that had led him to become an investigator, urged him forward. "Show me," he said, stepping closer to the sculpture, ready to face whatever truths lay waiting in the dark. The old man nodded, a sad smile touching his lips, as if he had hoped for a different answer but knew it was the only one Mr. Connell could give. He reached out, placing a hand on the sculpture, and in that moment, the barn around them seemed to dissolve into darkness, leaving them floating in a void where only the sculpture glowed with an eerie, inner light. Mr. Connell watched as the sculpture began to change, its surfaces moving and reconfiguring into forms that his mind struggled to understand. It was as if he was looking into the very fabric of the universe, seeing the threads that wove reality into existence. The forms spoke to him of ancient things, of cosmic events that shaped the galaxies, of the birth and death of stars, and of the dark, inscrutable forces that lay between the known and the unknowable. As he stood there, lost in the vision unfolding before him. Mr. Connell felt a transformation within himself. It was as if the sculpture was not just showing him the secrets of the cosmos, but changing him, making him part of the vast, eternal tapestry it represented. He felt his consciousness expand, his sense of self stretching out to touch the edges of the universe, and in that moment, he understood the true nature of the being who had brought him here. The old man, the watcher, the guardian of the threshold, was not just a keeper of secrets, but a guide, leading those who dared to seek out the truth to the ultimate revelation. That the universe was more vast, more complex, and more profoundly mysterious than they could ever have imagined. And as Mr. Connell embraced that revelation, as he allowed the cosmic truth to fill him, he realized that he was no longer just a man, no longer just a private investigator seeking missing persons on a remote farm. He was a part of the universe, a strand in the web of existence, forever changed by the knowledge he had sought. The sculpture faded, the barn reformed around them, and the old man turned to him, a knowing look in his eyes. "You have seen the truth," he said, his voice echoing with the resonance of stars and the depth of black holes. "And now you must decide what to do with it." Mr. Connell knew that he could not return to his former life, not after what he had experienced. He could not unsee the universe, could not unknow the truths that had been revealed to him. He looked at the old man, at the keeper of the gate, and understood that his journey was just beginning. "I will seek further," he said, his voice steady despite the awe and fear that twined within him. "I will learn what lies beyond the threshold." The old man nodded, pleased by his answer, yet somber at the weight of the path Mr. Connell had chosen. "Then follow me," he said, leading him out of the barn and into the starlit night. "The journey is long, and the truths you seek are not for the faint of heart, but they are there, waiting for those brave enough to discover them." Together, they walked into the darkness, leaving the farm behind, stepping into a future where the mysteries of the universe lay open before them, a future where the deepest truths awaited those daring enough to seek them out. As they walked under the expansive starry sky, the old man began to share stories of the cosmos, tales of cosmic winds that sculpted nebulae and of black holes that whispered secrets from the edge of time. Each word seemed to pull Mr. Connell deeper into a reality he had never imagined, a place where the fabric of existence was woven from both the material and the mysterious. Their path took them beyond the farm, into the depths of the ancient woods that bordered the property. The forest seemed alive, aware of their presence, its ancient trees standing like sentinels. The air was filled with the crisp scent of pine and the subtle hint of something older, a remnant of the world before mankind. The ground beneath their feet was soft, covered with centuries of fallen leaves, and with each step, Mr. Connell felt as though he was walking further from his past life and deeper into a new, uncharted existence. The old man spoke of dimensions beyond the physical, places where the laws of physics were mere suggestions and where reality blended with possibilities. He explained that the universe was not just a collection of stars and planets, but a canvas of energies and entities, some benevolent, others indifferent to the plights of smaller creatures such as humans. "The universe is alive," he said, his voice blending with the rustling leaves and the distant call of an owl. "It breathes and dreams just as we do, but its dreams are grander, its thoughts spanning galaxies and eons." As they delved deeper into the woods, Mr. Connell noticed a change in the surroundings. The trees began to thin, giving way to a clearing that was bathed in the light of the moon. In the center of this clearing stood a stone structure, ancient and covered in moss. It looked like an altar, or perhaps a gateway, its origin lost to time. "This is a place of power," the old man said, gesturing towards the stone structure. "It is one of many such places around the world, nexuses where the energies of the universe converge." Mr. Connell approached the structure, drawn by an inexplicable force. As he got closer, he could feel a vibration in the air, a hum that seemed to resonate with his very soul. "Places like this are where the veil between dimensions grows thin," the old man continued. "From here, one can glimpse the true expanse of reality and sometimes reach through to touch it." Encouraged by the old man's words, Mr. Connell reached out and placed his hands on the cold stone. Instantly, a surge of energy coursed through him, visions flashing before his eyes. Visions of worlds spinning in the dark, of creatures of light soaring through voids, of ancient civilizations that had risen and fallen, leaving behind echoes of their existence. The experience was overwhelming, yet enlightening. Mr. Connell felt as if he was touching the heartbeat of the universe, every throb sending waves of knowledge and emotion through him. He saw the interconnectedness of all things, the dance of creation and destruction that moved the cosmos. After what felt like an eternity, he stepped back, breathless and transformed. The old man was watching him with a knowing smile, as if he had expected this reaction. "You are beginning to see," he said softly. "But seeing is only the first step. Understanding and accepting are what follow." They spent the night by the stone structure, under the open sky. The old man shared more of his knowledge, tales of cosmic entities, and the nature of reality. Mr. Connell listened, absorbing every word, every concept. He felt like a student of the universe, with the old man as his guide through the vast and mysterious fields of cosmic knowledge. As dawn approached, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold, Mr. Connell knew that his journey was only beginning. He had crossed a threshold, leaving behind his old life as a private investigator to embark on a quest for deeper truths. "I am ready to continue," he told the old man as the first light of morning touched the clearing. The old man nodded, pleased yet solemn. "Then let us go," he said. "There are many paths to follow, many truths to uncover. The journey is long and often difficult, but the rewards are beyond imagining." Together, they walked away from the clearing, the stone structure fading into the light of the new day. Ahead of them lay a path that would take them to other places of power, other realms of existence. Mr. Connell was ready. He had stepped into a new role, no longer just a seeker of earthly truths, but a pilgrim in the vast cathedral of the cosmos. As they vanished into the woods, the world behind them awoke to the day, oblivious to the profound journey that had begun in its shadows. Mr. Connell had embarked on a quest that would take him to the edges of reality and beyond, into the heart of the universe itself. Their journey together took them to distant corners of the earth, places where the boundaries between worlds were thin and the fabric of reality was pliable. Each location held its secrets, wrapped in the folds of nature or buried beneath centuries of human history. With each step, each discovery, Mr. Connell's understanding of the universe expanded, his previous life as an investigator becoming a distant memory, a prologue to the extraordinary chapters he was now living. As they traveled, the old man taught Mr. Connell about the forces that govern the cosmos, the energies that pulse through the veins of the universe. He learned about gravitational eddies that could bend time, about dark energy that pushed galaxies apart, and about the quantum threads that stitched the fabric of existence together. The old man spoke of entities that dwelled in these interstices, beings of pure energy and thought, ancient beyond human comprehension, whose motives and actions were as mysterious as the dark side of the moon. In remote deserts under starlit skies, in ancient forests shrouded in mist, and on craggy peaks that pierced the heavens, they performed rituals, old as time itself, to observe, to summon, and to communicate with these cosmic entities. These rituals opened doorways to other dimensions, allowing Mr. Connell glimpses of realities so alien and profound that his mind struggled to contain the experiences without breaking. One evening, in the heart of the Himalayas, where the air was thin and the world seemed reduced to rock and sky, they arrived at a monastery carved into the side of a mountain. Here, monks who dedicated their lives to the study of cosmic mysteries welcomed them. In this sacred place, Mr. Connell experienced a profound shift in his perception. The monks taught him meditation techniques that enhanced his ability to traverse the astral planes, to touch the minds of distant beings, and to see the energy flows that connected all life. During one intense meditation, Mr. Connell's consciousness slipped the bonds of the physical world and traveled across the universe. He saw the birth of stars, the death of planets, and the slow dance of galaxies colliding. He felt the loneliness of black holes and the joy of nebulae birthing new suns. It was during these travels that he encountered a presence so vast, so ancient, that it dwarfed everything he had learned and seen. This presence, which the monks referred to as the universal mind, was the collective consciousness of the universe itself. It spoke to him not in words, but in a cascade of emotions, images, and raw thoughts. It told him of the universe's past, of civilizations that had risen and fallen on the tide of time, of great cataclysms that had reshaped the very structure of reality. It spoke of the future, of the challenges the universe would face as it aged, of the eventual cooling of all matter into silence and darkness. When Mr. Connell returned to his body, he was changed. The weight of the knowledge he carried was immense, and he knew his journey was far from over. The old man, who had been his guide and mentor, told him that the path he had chosen would lead him to more revelations, some wonderful, some terrifying. But all were necessary for someone who would one day take up the mantle of guardian, protector of the cosmic gates. They spent several more months at the monastery, preparing for the final leg of their journey. It was clear to Mr. Connell now that his old life was gone forever. He had a new purpose, one that transcended his individual existence. He was to become a keeper of secrets, a guide for those who would follow in his footsteps, seeking the truths hidden in the shadows of reality. Finally, the day came when they left the monastery. Their next destination was not marked on any map. It was a place that existed only in the whispers of the wind and in the dreams of those attuned to the deeper currents of the universe. As they descended the mountain, the old man turned to Mr. Connell and smiled, a smile that held both pride and sadness. "You are ready," he said, his voice echoing with the resonance of the cosmos. "Ready to see what lies beyond the edge of the known, to face what waits in the silence between the stars." Together, they stepped forward into the unknown, their path illuminated by the light of a billion suns, their spirits buoyed by the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. In this new chapter, Mr. Connell was not just a witness to the universe's wonders, but a participant in its continuing saga, a saga that spanned the breadth of space and the depths of time. As they ventured further into the unknown, Mr. Connell and the old man traveled through cosmic corridors that defied earthly concepts of distance and time. Their journey took them through stargates and wormholes, across dimensions that shimmered with unexplored possibilities and worlds that teemed with life both familiar and utterly alien. Each experience was a lesson, a puzzle piece fitting into the vast mosaic of universal truths that Mr. Connell was gradually assembling. Their travels brought them to an ancient planet, where ruins older than Earth's sun whispered secrets of a long-gone civilization. Here, amidst towering obelisks etched with star maps and quantum equations, Mr. Connell learned of the Builders, a race that had mastered the art of creation, molding planets and stars with the same ease as a potter shapes clay. These beings had left behind not only their monumental architecture, but also their knowledge, stored in crystalline databanks that flickered to life at Mr. Connell's touch. Guided by the old man, Mr. Connell learned to decipher the Builders' language, a complex synthesis of mathematics and music, vibrations that resonated with the fundamental frequencies of the universe. He discovered plans for machines that manipulated dark energy, blueprints for bridges across galaxies, and formulas for extending life across eons. With each discovery, the responsibility he felt grew heavier, an amalgam of awe and apprehension at the powers that humanity might one day wield. In a library carved from a single diamond, beneath a sky lit by 3 suns, Mr. Connell faced a trial that tested not his mind or body, but his soul. An entity, a guardian of the Builders' legacy, challenged him to justify why he, a mere human, should gain access to knowledge that had toppled empires and birthed paradises. It was here, in a debate that spanned hours, that Mr. Connell laid bare his intentions: to learn, to protect, and to prepare for a future where such powers could either save or doom his own world. Satisfied with his resolve and purity of purpose, the Guardian bestowed upon Mr. Connell the final key, a device capable of accessing any point in the universe, bound only by the wielder's wisdom and moral compass. The old man, with a nod of approval and a cryptic smile, told Mr. Connell that his training was complete, but his education would continue for a lifetime. Armed with knowledge and technology far beyond anything on Earth, they returned to the old man's farm, now a gateway rather than a home. It was here that Mr. Connell built his sanctum, a place where he could study the universal secrets he had gathered and contemplate his role as a guardian of not just Earth, but potentially the universe. Time passed differently for Mr. Connell now, marked not by days or years, but by insights gained and wisdom applied. He continued to explore the mysteries of the cosmos, sometimes accompanied by the old man, sometimes alone. He encountered other seekers, some benevolent, others malevolent, and he learned to navigate the complex politics of interstellar entities and cosmic powers. As he grew into his role, the old man's visits became less frequent until one day, he came to Mr. Connell with a farewell. He explained that his time as a guide was ending, that the cosmos called him to other duties beyond the comprehensible. With a final, enigmatic smile, he left Mr. Connell with a simple, yet profound piece of advice. Guard well the knowledge, but remember, true wisdom comes not from seeing the entire tapestry, but from understanding where and how to weave your thread. With the old man's departure, Mr. Connell felt the weight of his legacy fully settle upon his shoulders. He was no longer just a student of the cosmos, but a master in his own right, a keeper of secrets and a builder of bridges between stars. He expanded his sanctum, turning it into a beacon for those who, like him, sought to understand the deeper truths of the universe. His life became a blend of solitude and communion, as he welcomed learners, negotiated with cosmic entities, and ventured further into the unknown. Each day brought new challenges, new joys, and new sorrows, but through it all ran the unbreakable thread of his quest for knowledge, woven through the fabric of his existence. And so, Mr. Connell continued, ever the pilgrim in the boundless cathedral of the cosmos, searching for answers in the silence between the stars, ever mindful of the old man's parting wisdom. His journey was a testament to the enduring human spirit, a spirit that, when guided by curiosity and tempered by wisdom, could ascend to the heights of the gods and delve into the mysteries of creation itself. In this expanded role, Mr. Connell sometimes felt the loneliness of his position acutely as the guardian of such potent knowledge. Yet, he also found a deep, abiding joy in his work, understanding that he was part of a lineage that stretched across the cosmos, linking him to the old man and to the countless other guardians who had come before. His mission was clear: to safeguard the universe's secrets and ensure they were used for the betterment of all, not the destruction of many. Mr. Connell established a network of beacons, similar to his sanctum, placed strategically at various points in the universe. These beacons served as libraries, sanctuaries, and meeting places for different beings who wished to learn and share knowledge peacefully. Each beacon was a testament to the potential for unity and cooperation among diverse species, a place where knowledge flowed as freely as the light from the stars. Over time, these beacons became hubs of interstellar diplomacy and cultural exchange. Mr. Connell, once a lone seeker of hidden truths, now found himself at the center of a thriving network, a community bound by a desire for knowledge and mutual respect. He facilitated discussions that bridged worlds, resolved conflicts that had simmered for millennia, and helped forge alliances that brought stability to volatile regions of space. Despite these successes, challenges arose that tested Mr. Connell's resolve and the ideals he upheld. There were entities, dark and powerful, that coveted the knowledge stored in the beacons. They sought to twist the secrets of the universe to their own ends, to dominate rather than share, to destroy rather than preserve. Mr. Connell faced these threats with a blend of diplomacy and, when necessary, direct action, leveraging the technologies and strategies he had learned during his travels. One such challenge emerged from a rogue faction of dimensional engineers, beings who could manipulate the very fabric of reality, but lacked the moral framework to wield such power wisely. They began to tear through dimensions, creating rifts that threatened the stability of entire galaxies. Mr. Connell led a coalition of beings from various worlds, each contributing their own knowledge and power to seal these rifts and restore order. In the ensuing battle, Mr. Connell found himself pushed to the limits of his abilities. He traversed collapsing dimensions, navigated fields of raw cosmic energy, and confronted the engineers in their own distorted realms. The conflict was fierce and fraught with peril, but Mr. Connell's resolve never wavered. He understood that the safety of the universe and the sanctity of its knowledge were at stake. After a long and arduous struggle, the coalition emerged victorious. The dimensional rifts were sealed, and the rogue engineers were subdued and brought before a council of entities for judgment. Justice was meted out not with vengeance, but with wisdom, offering rehabilitation and teaching the rogue engineers the responsibilities that came with their power. This victory solidified Mr. Connell's reputation as a guardian of peace and a defender of knowledge. It also underscored the importance of the beacons and the network he had built. They were not just repositories of knowledge, but also symbols of what could be achieved when diverse beings worked together for a common good. As peace returned, Mr. Connell continued his explorations, delving even deeper into the mysteries of the universe. He discovered new realms of existence, encountered beings of light and energy that defied description, and uncovered truths that expanded his understanding of reality. Yet, no matter how far he traveled or what wonders he witnessed, he always returned to his network of beacons, to the community he had helped build. His life became a beautiful cycle of exploration and return, of discovery and sharing. Each journey brought new insights that he would share with the network, enriching the collective knowledge and deepening the bonds between its members. And in each member of the community, each learner who came to the beacons with a thirst for knowledge. Mr. Connell saw a reflection of his younger self, full of curiosity and awe at the wonders of the cosmos. In his heart, Mr. Connell knew that he was no longer just a guardian of secrets. He was a teacher, a mentor, and a friend to countless beings across the stars. He had transcended the role he once thought defined him, becoming a pivotal figure in a story much larger than himself. A story of unity, learning, and the ceaseless quest for understanding. And so, amid the infinite tapestry of the cosmos, surrounded by the light of a billion suns and the quiet hum of the universe, Mr. Connell continued his work, forever guided by the wisdom of the old man and the ever-burning light of his own insatiable curiosity. Each day brought new challenges, new faces, and new mysteries, but also new opportunities to learn, to teach, and to share the boundless wonders of the universe. In this vast, endless dance of creation and discovery, Mr. Connell found his purpose, his home, and his legacy.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more similar horror stories.